Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson, and we have a really nice round of questions here. We got coaching search stuff. We have, Ritter basketball is about to tip off here soon. We have some football questions, even though they're on bye week. So, good stuff. Good mailbag. Great questions from y'all as always. So we're going to dive right into it. First one comes from the Red Raider 07. He says or asks, how much power does Kirby Hocutt really have right now? Well, he still has a considerable amount of power. I mean, Kirby Hocutt is still, people like to say either or. Like he's ruling with an iron fist or, oh, he's powerless now. And that's not the way I see it. Kirby Hocutt is still a very powerful person, one of the most powerful people on that campus, regardless of the department. I think one thing to consider is how much power he wields in the Big 12 right now with OU and UT leaving. I mean, it's considerable from several people I've heard from actually. Now, where he has lost power, and there's no denying, is that, I mean, not this time, but 3 years ago when they hired Matt Wells, I mean, he went lone wolf McQuade, and he had enough power to keep everybody at bay and say, this is what I'm doing. And, what I'm told is basically he was told, you better get it right. Well, Wells didn't last 3 seasons, and so now it's a committee, and you have big donors like Regents and Dusty Womble and Cody Campbell, who obviously have a very big say now in who the next coach is going to be. So his power has been diminished some. To me, that's just common sense. But I think it would be wrong, just incorrect to say that he doesn't have any power anymore, because I just don't think that's the case. All right, TTU Dad 2012 says, who am I hearing now for coaching? Yeah, I have a Friday update video as well. So, I mean, this may be redundant for some of y'all, but you know what I've learned? Y'all don't have time to watch all of our content, see all our stuff. So, I'm going to restate basically a shortened version of what I said. Yeah, it does appear that Joey McGuire is the top target right now. I have not heard it's a done deal. That being said, would I be surprised if it was wrapped up and they had some kind of agreement by this weekend? No, I wouldn't. I would caution also that I don't think, though, while it's more difficult now that Jeff Traylor signed the extension, there's that $7.5 million buyout with UTSA, I don't believe he's totally off the table, as some would lead you to believe. It's more difficult. Now, obviously, that's going to cost a chunk of change, but I mentioned those big money donors that are involved. So, not that $7.5 million is $7.5 million. I don't care how rich you are, but it's doable if that's who they really want. And I just want to make sure y'all know that I personally don't believe that Traylor is completely off the table. He's down the list in terms of, he was way up top. He was the top target. He's down a little bit, but I think he's still in play. There's several other coordinators that are involved. Leach and Browse you hear about them a lot. Again, it's improbable but plausible that those two guys, one of those two guys, end up as the next head coach. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. So you have coordinators like Alex Grinch. There's several. There's let me check my notes and make sure I get it right for y'all. Brent Venables, I don't think it's going to happen, but of course he's very good friends with Kirby Hocutt. Jeff Lebby, Gus Malzahn, I don't think it's going to happen either. Kendall Browse, which of course the whole Browse connection, that would be interesting. Billy Napier, not a coordinator, as a head coach, of course, but I don't think that's probable either. I think he's waiting for the LSU job, or could maybe even look at the TCU job. Barry Odom, and then Anthony Lynn from the NFL ranks. These are names that I'm hearing right now that are at least on the list or being looked at. So it's not just one or two guys. I think Spike Dykes is off the map now, really. I just don't think he's going to end up at Texas Tech. So, I mean, right now, I would say Joey McGuire. Traylor's not off the list completely. And then you got 8 to 10 other guys who you're like, that would be next if McGuire doesn't work out. I-27 Raider asks, any legit rumblings of Kirby not making it through this process? No. I don't really have anything to expound on that other than, I just want to make sure I'm not hearing that at all. So, yeah. Tech Red 02 says, in your humble opinion, if we really have the money we are hearing we do, which, yeah, you do, why is the search so narrow in terms of types of coaches and past coaching styles? Yeah, Again, I'm not going to expound more on what I already said, but I mean, I don't consider this a narrow search. I think when you asked us on Monday, it was looked at more like that. I think now we're all starting to learn that the search has expanded, or at least we're just learning that it is a broader search than we thought. Also some of that money goes towards how much they're going to budget for recruiting, how much they're going to budget just for the assistant salary pool. There's several things that goes into it other than just the head coach. But no, Tech is going to be investing significantly more money into the football program, and it's about time, to be honest. All right, next question. Jay Mazzo. Hey, Jay Mazzo, how you doing, man? He said, JJ saw the update about losing to New Mexico State in the scrimmage. He says he knows Shannon did not play, but that shouldn't be a deal breaker against that team. What concerns do I have other than time to gel for the basketball team? Yeah, I think that's the big thing is time to gel. And I want to say point guard too, without knowing exactly what happened. I actually just talked with Coach Adams just the other day at practice. I got to ask him several questions kind of along those lines. And I think point guard play is something to consider, though Kevin McCullough's reportedly had a really good game against New Mexico State. And then I think it's just figuring out what guys play the best together. What kind of rotation you want. And then they're going to shorten the rotation, of course, once they get in the season. So there's a lot of things to figure out. They have some time here. They're playing some teams they should beat no matter what. So it's going to be interesting to see. But to me, it's, the team gelling, figuring out those rotations, and then getting a clear understanding of what you want from the point guard position are my biggest concerns. All right, Texas Tech Austin says, trailer turning Tech down to stay at UTSA. Does that mean that Tech finally figured out how to lose a bye week? That's pretty good. And if someone would figure out how to lose the bye week, it would be, the Red Raiders, of course. Again, I don't think trailer's completely off the table. That was a gut punch. The further I get away from last weekend, the loss to Oklahoma, and then just seemed like, we heard about the Tech basketball team losing the scrimmage, and then trailer, that was, the gut punch. I start feeling better about everything the further I get away from it. I don't know if it's just time to heal or what, but no, I just think it's not as bad as we thought. I wouldn't say Tech has lost the bye week. I'm not going to say that. Not yet. All right, next question comes from Tech Freak. And I think this is a really good question. It's actually two questions. He says, when can players enter the transfer portal, and can they no longer play, or are they no longer allowed to play once they enter if the season is still in progress? Yeah, the first question is you can enter the transfer portal anytime. I mean, guys enter the transfer portal all the time. In terms of can they no longer play, I really don't know. I've never considered that question. I can't remember anyone jumping in the transfer portal during the season but still playing. So I'm thinking like what coach would let them, even if they could. But I don't think you can. But if you can, it would be crazy for me to think of a coach allowing them to play while they're in the transfer portal. That just makes no sense. All right, streaming it. He says, any out of the blue names you've heard pop up for Tech's coaching hire by credible sources, of course. Yeah, Gus Malzahn was kind of surprising to me. I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea. It's not. He doesn't have any, as far as I know, without looking at it, he doesn't have Tech ties. And, I find it improbable that he would accept it. But, like I said, I've been told that they were going to at least make him say no. They're going to talk to him and make him say no. So I don't know if that conversation has happened yet, but it's supposed to, supposedly. So that surprised me, to be honest. Out of all of them, that one has surprised me the most so far. All right, 241121 says, would I rather fight 50 goose-sized horses or one horse-sized goose? Ooh. I'm going to go with the one horse-sized goose, as terrifying as that sounds. Like, seriously. But because, all right, so hang with my reasoning here. If you fight 50 goose-sized horses, I mean, yeah, I know they're small, but I feel like they could swarm you, and overwhelm you. But if you fight one horse-sized goose, and I don't know if I'm missing a reference here. This is from some movie or something. I'm taking this literally. I'm taking this as a literal question. But if you fight one horse-sized goose, I mean, that's a big target. All it takes is one really good shot, well-aimed, well-placed, well-timed shot, and that's it. You're not overwhelmed by 50 of these horse-sized goose, or goose-sized horses. So to me, I would rather take on the big daddy, come on, bring it on, than being swarmed. But that's just me. So we had questions all over the place this week. I really appreciate it. There's a lot going on, of course. Next week, they'll be back on the grind in terms of the season. The Riveters have 3 games remaining. And with that, I want to thank everyone for their questions. Thanks for watching, and until next time.